Alright guys, in this video I want to talk a little bit about the 360, since there Xbox 360. I mean, since there has been a little fuss lately about the shutting down of the marketplace, and also because the 360 was a really popular console. It was a very special console. Not just, I mean, the hardware per se, but back in those years, from the early 2000s were really special because, in my opinion, that's where video games, at least 3D video games, peaked. From the 2001, let's say, to 2008, I would say, we've had the peak of 3D games. And it's not just that. It's not just the 360. I mean, I have to admit that I'm pretty nostalgic for those years because those were very carefree, happy years for me. So the 360, with all those games, thinking about all that makes it even more sweet, even though it's long gone. It's a time that is long gone, and it will probably never come back. So it's a bittersweet sensation, let's say. And the first couple of years of the 360 were really amazing, in my opinion. I did buy the console at launch in 2005. Then played some Call of Duty 2, which was a very good port from the PC version. It was the only console that had a comparable version of Call of Duty 2 to the PC one, run pretty well, 60 FPS, HD graphics. Then I played Condemned. Then in March of 2006, I did buy my first Bethesda game, which was Oblivion. And I actually did spend a lot of time on it. I think, yeah, it was from March to end of August, in which Dead Rising 1 came out, and then I did play Dead Rising 1 for a couple of months until Gears of War came out, Gears of War 1, and then yeah, the rest is history, because next year we got games like Lost Planet, Mass Effect, Halo 3, Forza Motorsport 2. Then in 2006 there was also, I think, Crackdown. I mean, up until 2008, the 360 was really a special console. After that, everything started going downhill because they did change management. The big suits were pretty much switched, and that's where Don Matrick came in. And all those incompetent people like Phil Spencer as well. But yeah, let's not think about it. I mean, I wanna talk about my experience with the 360, which was, like I said, in those 3 years was pretty good. In the remaining years was also pretty fun as well. But the magic of those first 2.5 years, it was never captured, in my opinion, because there was just too many quality games coming out, and the team at Xbox was very ambitious. They wanted to really beat Sony, the team that they had before 2008. So after that, everything pretty much stopped. And the 360 really gave us a lot of good things, like affordable, powerful hardware, good online service, good games, and it also had partial backwards compatibility with the first Xbox. So when there were periods in which there were no games to play, I often booted up games from the first Xbox. I remember my mostly replayed games in those years were Ninja Gaiden Black and Doom 3 probably. Yeah, those were my most two replayed games from the first Xbox on the 360. Just to kill time until my next release I was interested in will come out. But also bad things like, I mean, the Red Ring of Death. Then the DLC with the horse armor, that was the start of the DLC. And another thing that was pretty interesting, and of course, I mean, microtransactions, but those are probably the worst trend that started in the 360 gen, I would say. But there was another thing that I found it very curious that how it never catched on. As far as I remember, there was only one case of this instance happening, which was the selling of cut content from the game, like content that has been scrapped from the game, being sold on the marketplace as DLC, which happened with Gears of War 2. So they ended up selling this section that was cut from the game, and it was I think you needed the original game to play it, but it was completely unrelated to the main game. You just loaded it by booting up the game. You went into the menu and you selected this campaign to play, and it was like a short segment, like I think half an hour or an hour to play, and that was it. And I thought this was pretty interesting because in retrospect, with all the shitty practices that catched on in that gen, this one that maybe would have been the least shitty alternative didn't really like have a follow-up, because I don't remember any other games doing this. But no, I mean, I don't just mean with DLCs, like in the case of the Gears of War 2. It would have been interesting maybe for software houses to sell like scrapped builds of popular games on the marketplace for people to try. Would have been interesting maybe to have Capcom sell the Resident Evil 1.5 build as a DLC, like as a digital download, or their Resident Evil 4 Hookman build. That would have been interesting, honestly. And I mean, as far as the user, as long as they knew what they were buying, as long as the software houses were clear about it, I don't think there would have been any problems. At least for me, I definitely would have bought some of those unreleased builds just to play them, just to see how they were, if it actually was a justified scrapping of the game, or maybe not. Who knows? But maybe it was never done because it's possible that the software houses, maybe they thought that this will damage the reputation of the brand, for example. Or maybe they didn't have these builds anymore, or maybe they didn't want to convert them. Who knows? But this probably would have been a very interesting thing to explore. And yeah, this whole talk about the 360 made me think of this eventuality that never materialized. I mean, in a way, I guess you could say it kind of did, since we're now getting a lot of early access games compared to before. But it's just not the same thing. Unreleased games that hold big reputation, like I said, like Resident Evils, various Resident Evil builds, and I'm sure there's other games other unreleased games people would like to try, but never had the chance to. I'm pretty sure this would have been a very popular thing. And yeah, I'm surprised it never happened. And as far as the 360, I don't know. I mean, it was a good console. I really liked it, like I said before. But at this point, it's in the past. I have played everything, everything I was interested in. It was definitely one of my favorite consoles ever. Probably in the third place, I will say. I mean, top 5 for sure. Not sure if it's in the top 3, but top 5 for sure. And yeah, this is it. I just wanted to talk about a little bit my experience and this thing. I thought it was really interesting, and probably a lot of people don't even remember about this. But yeah, let me know your experience with the 360 because I'm curious. It's always nice to hear other people's experiences. And also, yeah, tell me if you will be interested in this kind of like DLC of unreleased builds, if you will actually buy one. And as for the rest, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye bye.